I, I couldn't get that look. I couldn't get the look on her face out of my mind. I wanted to stop her from going through with it. I wanted to tell her there was another way, though, through this, but I knew that wasn't the truth. I'm afraid of seeing myself having the exact same life for the next few years or next decades, or till death. She feared the future. Thus, death became the easy escape. I have no right to interfere with her choice. I can neither change her fate nor shoulder her burden. The only thing I can do is accept the reality. Even with this sense of powerlessness, there are things I still need to do. I let out a sigh and slowly got back on my feet in spite of my shaking legs. What a troublesome promise to make. I grasped tightly on the paper she handed me and started walking. Bro, I want to skip this, and that way I can save it for the ending I'm actually getting. The last night street was almost empty. There wasn't even a footstand due to the terminated construction project. There were only a few passengers who pulled up their collars and were eager to get home. It's been 4 years already, huh? It was also this cold that day. I was sent to the hospital after escaping. The case was closed right after the police took my statement. The police found the girl in the abandoned apartment, but couldn't get any information from her. There was no evidence of the involvement of Mr. Ken, so it was treated as a regular abduction incident. And that was the end of the investigation. Perhaps this was what she wanted. I was depressed by the predeterminable result. I could only comfort myself with that thought. Through the number she left me, I got in contact with Miss Wang, and eventually met her quiet sister. I managed to piece their story together from Miss Wang. Due to failed investments, their father accumulated enormous amount of debt and abandoned the family. The mother had to shoulder the family since then, but between the debt collection attempts and working, eventually she broke down and ended her own life. Without family or a place to live, the sisters were eventually helped by their mother's co-worker, Miss Wang. Despite having a job and a place to live, they were still constantly getting harassed, which made the girl decide to take the risk. I told her many times that she could at least manage at my place, but she didn't listen. Hearing her words, I couldn't reply. Seeing the wrinkles on her face and the paint marks on the wall, I could guess why she made that decision. She wanted to escape from this life that was forced upon her. She wanted a life of her own that didn't involve others.
ごめん。塾で帰りが遅くなった。
Sorry. Cram school took longer than usual. I was back to my senses when I saw a girl wearing a coat walking towards me. Her voice still sounded a little childlike, but the sister had grown up for sure. Knowing of the death of her big sister, she chose to seclude herself from the rest of the world. She didn't cry nor speak, but only sat in her room quietly. I couldn't really take her sister's place, so all I could do was accompany her till she sorted it all out. Eventually she opened her mouth, but grew much quieter than before, and was even more afraid of socializing. Perhaps in the attempt to follow her sister, she grew her hair out as well, which was now spreading in the wind. No problem. How's life?
この後のテストに備えてる。
It's okay. I'm preparing for the exam. With the help of social welfare department, she returned to school, and she used her time off to make some money with handicrafts. She was behind others of the same age, but she was catching up society.
あなたは
Catching up to society. You? Busy as always. If only there were 48 hours in a day. My life had gotten busy thanks to the promise I made. I took courses on social welfare and participated in volunteer work. I started to witness the darkest corners of the society and the difficulty behind changing them. I even asked myself if I could really change anything. Thankfully, I always managed to keep moving forward after meeting her. Nothing was changed. I don't think so. At least I could support her to move on and change her life. The world might be unfair. All these dark corners make us feel powerless against it. We can't even give a hand to others when we're occupied with our own lives. However, if we face the problem, there must be something we can do. Let's go home. Putting the scarf on the girl, I spoke to her softly. The moon was high in the sky, guarding our safe return. It might be wavery, it might be dim, yet it guided people's direction all the same. That's right. Like a light in the dark. We are not done yet. I did not save? Shit. Continue. Okay, yeah. Skip. No. It can't end like this. Why is she paying for this? Why surrender yourself to reality? Before I realized it, I started running back to the building. The cold wind cut through my skin like tiny sharp knives. My body ached in protest at my impulsive actions. I could barely even breathe, yet my mind had never been more clear. I won't allow it. My motivation was so simple. No matter how harsh her future may be, or what would even be the best option to take, I just knew that I wanted her to live. No need of complicated reasons. No need to convince anyone. These thoughts were enough to drive me forward. They say rain is the tears that God shed for the heartbroken. They say that rain is the water cast by the divine to cleanse our sins. The girl rested her head near the window while watching the never-ending rain. Memories started to flow into her mind. Those that she kept consciously, those that she refused to face, and those that she thought she had forgotten. Must be the medicine. She was losing her grip on consciousness. Her head was heavy as if she had a hangover. She recalled the kidnapping event, her father and her mother who ended her life. She hated him for abandoning them, and her for showing weakness in the face of pressure. She thought of Liling, her sister, who never experienced real joy. She didn't know her sister was doing well or if she was safe. Strangely enough, there wasn't that much emotion as she recalled this. There was a little bit of regret and sadness, but nothing else seemed to matter. Finally, the person she kidnapped, she wanted to torment those self-righteous people and make them taste the same fear and hunger. However, the more time they spent together, the less she understood. Was he just someone special, or was the distance between them two, not quite as far apart as she thought? We aren't different. You were just unlucky. This was the first time someone told her that. She had been pushing herself and refused to show any weakness before others. Not until hearing that line did she realize just how much she craved understanding. She wanted someone to tell her that this wasn't her fault and that we were all the same. Even coming from a different upbringing and different social classes, could the two truly understand each other? It was getting difficult to think. Let's see someone else handle the complicated questions. One last cigarette was lit. The smell perked her up a little, but she still no longer had the strength to hold it up. She left it on the desk and let the familiar scent permeate through the room. She powerlessly laid her head on the desk as the world around her started to blur. The insatiable sleepiness took over her body. So tired. She deserved a rest after doing this much, right? She couldn't even feel the cold now. And her body grew very light slowly. Her consciousness also began to fade away. Even the sound of the rain was fading, only to be replaced by silence. Her vision began to white out. You want to restart your life in a place where no one knows about you? That's impossible, even if you paid off the debt. His words came to mind, and she weakly smiled. It's possible. Let go of all the labels and find a place to restart your life. Her fading consciousness was brought back by an abrupt sound. She could vaguely hear the sound of heavy footsteps climbing up the stairs, and soon a force began shaking her shoulders. Who? Why? What? She had countless questions, but no strength to even open her eyes. Amidst the confusion, she heard that familiar voice. I won't let you die on me. Never. You bastard. She tried to curse, but couldn't muster the strength. She could only let her body be lifted up by him. He was so close she could hear his heavy breathing. That somehow gave her a sense of security. It was just like the time when her father was still complete, including her father. It was that peaceful, happy memory which she had desperately tried to pursue over the past few years. Yet, at a certain point, she could barely remember the sensation anymore, an associated memory. She quietly closed her eyes and lost consciousness upon his warm shoulder. Dawn, the only moment of serenity in the hospital. Even the late-night troublemakers had fallen asleep. I could only hear the sounds of the nurses on shift and suppressed coughs from time to time. While walking towards the patient's room, I began to recall the events from the past few days. I dragged her away from the building that night and found someone to call for an ambulance before I passed out myself. All I could see upon waking up was the spotless ceiling, the unique scent of dysphagia filling the room. Outside of a few bruises and malnutrition, I was fine. They let me go after half a day of observation. It was the same gloomy sky, same trashy news, same old debate among politicians. And this how Urbisham Torah felt when he returned from the Dragon Palace. This sense of being forgotten by time, as though everything you experienced was nothing but a dream. Well, that dream has ended, alright. Both she and I needed to continue moving forward. I stopped in front of the door and knocked. I'm coming in. Receiving no response, I walked into the room anyway. Upon entering, I saw she was sitting on the bed, and her gaze locked. Her usual scarf had been swapped for a gray hospital gown, which made her almost unrecognizable except for that good old glare filled with animosity. It reminded me of all that I've gone through, whether it be her expression of gratitude or rage. I recalled her teary account of the tragic life she had, yet none of those showed on her face. She looked just like the first time I met her, hiding all of her emotions deep inside. Yo, you seem to be doing well here. With a mixture of relief and a tiny bit of disappointment, I greeted her and unsurprisingly got a disgusted response.
元気あんたも一晩中一洗浄されてみろ気分がどれくらい悪いかわかるよ
Doing well. Try having your stomach pumped for a whole day and then tell me how you feel. At least your life is saved, so stop complaining.
助けてくれと頼んだ覚えはないけどね
I didn't ask you to save me. I'm aware of that. She raised her eyebrow yet again and glared at me, void of any sign of gratitude. I simply shrugged. I had no need to play along now that we were no longer in the kidnapper-hostage relationship. We stared at each other for a moment until she finally gave in.
どうして私を助けたんだ
Why? Her body relaxed and her voice turned into a quiet mumble.
これで私を助けたと思う誘拐犯まで助けるほどお人よしそれとも私が刑務所に入るのを見なければ気が済まないの
You think you're helping me? You find it heroic to save a kidnapper, of all people? Or do you want to make sure I get sent to jail?
悔しいけどあと10年30年生きても 私の人生は何も変わらない。
I don't want that, but I know my life won't change for the next 10 years or even 30 years.
教えてくれ。実刑何年になると思う？前科あり、中学校を中退した人間は何ができると思う？
Tell me, how long do you think I'll be in jail? What kind of future is there for a high school dropout with a criminal record?
わかった。それでも私を助けたつもり？
Do you understand? Do you think you're helping me? She had a bit of difficulty saying those words. It was a statement of self-denial, not unlike her attempted suicide. My actions made no sense to her. I was just fulfilling my own sense of justice by interfering in someone else's life, and disregarding what would happen next. You might be right. I can only imagine all the trouble awaiting you in jail, or even after death. Or even after maybe death. Or even after maybe death is an easier way out.
じゃあ、
So why? But isn't that a bit selfish? What about the others? What about others? What about your sister?
うるさい。何でも知っているような口を聞くな。
Shut up. Stop acting like you understand. I did this for myself. Your life ahead will be rough, but I want you to live on nonetheless. I interrupted her and gave my conclusion without hesitation. I was able to sort out my thoughts thanks to the rain. It is not about what is best for her, but what I want to do. I don't want her to die. I don't want to see her sister's tears. I don't want this to be the end. Selfish or not, I wanted to prove to her that society is not beyond saving, just like her life. I have this feeling our society sucks, but we still need to struggle within it regardless.
なんで？
Why is that? We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the
どういう
stars.
意味？
What? I somehow quoted Oscar Wilde there. I tried to explain the quote, but couldn't find a better way to put it. Anyway, I can't bring myself to allow you to let it all go like that. Life's not that easy.
私が知る限り、あんたが一番性悪だ。
You really are the worst. My apologies, but that's how messed up my personality is. As long as I breathe, I won't let you die that
ア
easily.
ホか。
You're crazy. She muttered her last complaint, still not accepting my way of thinking. Also, Miss Wang told me your sister hasn't slept the past few days. She's been staring at the TV screen waiting for news about you. Even if it was just for her, can you keep going a little longer? She averted her gaze upon hearing her sister. It was only natural for her to be unable to adjust her emotions this quickly. She needed to figure it out for herself. If it is death she wants, then no one can really stop her. The police outside gave me a gesture indicating I should end the discussion soon so they can proceed with their investigation. Whether it be the true culprit or about her family, I still have much to ask, but I should leave the rest to the police. I'm sure we'll meet each other again.
おい、
Hey. She called out to me as I put on my coat, ready to leave. I was by myself when I woke up this
今朝
morning.
起きた時、目が覚めているのは私だけ。
I opened the shades trying to figure out the time. And saw the sunrise, even the clouds were
今の
sparkling.
時間を確かめようとカーテンを開けてみたんだけど、ちょうど日の出で空の雲は日光にキラキラと照らされている。
It was beautiful. I don't recall ever seeing such a beautiful sky before. there was this rare sight of softness on her face as she recalled the scenery she witnessed. It was unburdened, stress-free happiness in its purest form upon seeing something beautiful.
今後どうなるかはわからないけど、それだけでも生きていくのに期待できることは多少なりともあるように思えた。
I don't know what will happen, but perhaps that will be the one thing worth living for. I followed her gaze and looked out at the sky as well. It was just like in that abandoned apartment where she also stared outside of the window all the time. Back then, I thought she was staring at somewhere far away that I couldn't see. I wanted to know what she was looking at, but now we were looking at the exact same scenery. It is beautiful indeed. Yeah, I can't skip the credits, can I? Nope. Good time for a discussion. So basically, from what I read originally, this ending was not supposed to be a thing. The ending where she kills herself was supposed to be the original thing, but because so many people loved the story, there were so many people, so many fans of this game, that wanted there to be an ending where she lived. And that is actually generally just warming and heart-filled. Seeing so many people agree on one thing, wanting somebody to survive. Even after all their life struggles, even if they have nothing else to do, they do this. There is something that could be there for you. Just never give up. Just never give up. Just never give up. It will always and always get better. No matter what happens, you can always look up to the sky. And now this is the scene that was supposed to happen as soon as I basically got that ending. They were supposed to both be gone, but I kind of got it too. Kind of played it before live streaming. I'm missing images. I'm going to assume those are from the endings where I kill one of them and run away, or I die. But I don't want to do that. I don't see a reason to. I want to leave it off on a perfect ending. That is all. Hopefully next game I will have will be good or have more emotion, but this game holds a special place in my heart. And like it says, there will always be a light.